Hello, podcasters, and welcome once again to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and superconsciousness. This is my podcast teaching you about how to sexually liberate yourself to be confident, spicy, and fun around intimacy and sex, along with learning about how to build a great foundation for strong, long-lasting, and passionate relationships. This is very truly unfiltered, uncensored, and unexpected. I'm really looking forward to this month's topic, which is all about sex and age gaps. My fabulous guest and I will be discussing if age gaps matter, the differences between the age gaps, our experiences of age gaps and going out with young men, and why we enjoy age gaps. So, here is my super sexy guest, Beatrice Vieira. Beatrice is a human being like you and me who went to Canada in 2001 in the hope of living with the love of her life. After two major failure of relationships, she decided to take a break from that and quite rightly focus on herself. During that process, she decided to create a podcast called it's called Sex in the City, Toronto, with the intention of helping others find comfort and inspiring them that love is possible. So she is a daughter, sister, mother, and friend, just looking for true love. So Beatrice, a very, very sexy welcome to Sexplosion.
Thank you so much for having me. And I just want to correct, it's Sexy in Toronto City. Yes, welcome. And thank you for having me here today. Thank you for everybody that's listening. And it's going to be interesting.
It certainly is. I'm really appreciate you getting up early in the morning for this show. So Beatrice, just before we came live, you were talking about age. So I'd like you to just carry on and just give us a little insight of what you were saying about that.
First of all, I think there is like so much judgment because when you're a female, I'm in my 40s and I don't look my age. So I don't want to get sidetracked because what I have to say is so important. When you're female and you're in your 40s and you attract some males that are in their 20s and 30s, it's a funny age gap that I am right now. Because first of all, I don't look my age. I've tried to take care of myself as much as I can. And when you put a little bit of makeup, you kind of, clean up nicely, whatever. And people judge you. People judge a woman if she wants to go out and have fun with a young male. The interesting part is also I do have a daughter that she's in her 20s. And when she saw herself, some of her friends commenting or saying your mom is beautiful or tell her that they're interested in me, she get mad at me. So I feel, yes, she gets super mad. And it has this like shameful thing as I am not allowed to be a human being. I'm just allowed to be the mom, that's one aspect. The other aspect is in society, if a female of my age go and walk around with a 20-something years old, they're going to be judging. They're going to be like, oh, how old are you? And if I say, well, I'm in my 43 or 45, and how old is him? He's 28, they're like, what? That's never going to happen. That's not possible. But really and truly, it depends how comfortable you are in your skin and how comfortable this relationship is. Does it have like a chemistry? Does it have a mental connection? Does it have emotional connection? So I feel that the shameful part, however, by saying that, I want to let it clear here. I want to have a disclosure that I have not myself had yet a young relationship that I would have last or introduced to family or, I assume or say, no, I will assume that responsibility of saying, yes, I'm in love with this person is in love with me, because of the shameful that society has or family members put on your shoulders.
You're absolutely right. And I have many friends who have children who are in their early 20s. And they've said to me, Caroline, how on earth can you go out with somebody? That's like I could never do that, they'd say, because that's like going out with someone of my son's age. I say it's just not possible. However, there is a friend that is she's 10 years younger than me. So she's 48 and she's now been going out with someone of 28 for 10 months. Okay, it's an early relationship still, but 10 months. But she found it really difficult at first. I mean, he is a bit older than her own children, but only by a few years. But taking your point on family members, where, you know, you are mum, you know, I've got another friend whose daughter, she'd go out with her daughter and her daughter would say, Mum, don't look at that man, or that man talk to you. It's like, you know, I said to her, you shouldn't be going out with her to start. If you're going out with, you know, you can't go out with your daughter. It's just not right in that way. Going out for a meal and other things like that, but going out clubbing or something like that, which is what we normally do, it just doesn't work. So, and of course, with me, I have got no shame whatsoever. You know, I was going out with young men, you know, and they would lie to me sometimes. But you know what? Just picking up on what you said about when you're out with them, I'd be out clubbing and they'd ask me my age, and I say to them, look, I can't tell you. And they say, why? And I say, look, because you'll spit your drink out. You're not going to believe it. And they go, yeah, of course I'm going to believe it. And I said, you're not going to be, you can't be more than, I think they'd say something like 35. And I go, no. They say, what, you mean you're older than that? And I go, look, I'm not going to, no, come on, please tell me what your age is. I said, look, you'll be saying F off to me and give me your ID. And they go, no, I won't. I'm not going to say that, am I? So they'd say, okay, so you're older than that. I go, yeah. And they say an age, right? 40, no, up, 43, 44, no, up, higher, what? And then they start changing their facial expressions as if to say, I don't believe this. Then what would they say to me? I don't believe it. Prove me, show me your ID. Exactly what I told them. And it would be like that every single time. And in the end, I was like, you know, I just can't tell them my age anymore because it's getting ridiculous, you know. I haven't been traveling for a while. I went to the music festival recently, but actually, because now I have my man who is 14 years younger than me. And you know what people used to say to me? They'd say, Caroline, will you stop looking for a young man? Look, you've got to get someone your age. And I'd say, yeah, but you know, I just don't want anybody my age. I said, look, it's much better. And I go, okay, I tried. So I went out with this man. When I decided that, I went out with this man. He was still, you know, still younger than me, but he was 43, I think. And I was past the mid about 48. And we went out to a cinema. And I went on the back of his motorbike. Actually, got me a helmet, and I put my briefcase in the back of his bike, and we went over there. And he went, I just didn't fancy him, you know. No matter how hard I tried to like an older man, I suppose I've got a block because I don't want an older man. But I'm very lucky now. So
I don't think it's a block per se, because I can relate to what you're saying. And what happened to me is that I learned that on my podcast with some of my guests. She's an amazing psychologist and therapist, and she said something that I'm an orgasmic person. What I mean as an orgasmic person, I invite everybody to go on Pod Sex in Toronto City and read the post. I'm going to be there this Sunday about that. It's somebody that's very passionate about life, very brilliant, very lively and joyful. And when you go with a male that is in their 40s, not all male that will mature and be able to keep that brightness and light. And, you know, the traumas and the scars that they had through their years is heavy on them, you know. And I feel like with the young male, you have this energy that is more fun. It's more relatable because
absolutely.
And you keep yourself, even though you have stories, baggage and scars and traumas, whatever. Us women, I feel we clean up that shit first, and then we are we can breathe and we can still have fun and we can still enjoy life in a more lightly way. When like it's funny because I went in two parties this summer so far, and the pool parties. And
I
for
love
those that
pool
follow me,
party.
yeah, for those that follow me on Instagram, I'm always post. I'm very like, I share with my public. I want my public to know what is allowed, what is like what I'm doing. Go ahead, have fun. Um, and I went into one that people are in the age gap, our age gap, you know, very nice. But the most part of people, they were in couples, and some of you, the males were, oh, Carol, I just like just to remember. And then I went to another one. They're in their 30s, 20s, and those hot males, like young and Latins and come and dancing. Hey, let's go dance. Like the vibe is different, the approach is different. And
It
this
is.
40 something male that I met in this pool party, we have some sort of exchange of chemistry there. And when I came back home, whatever, he was saying to me, oh, you have kids, you have a podcast that talk about sex. I don't like, they're closed-minded and they're so judgmental. Now, the young males, they're more like, they're like, oh, nice, cool, tell me more. Like, I want to know, and there's no judgment, and I don't care, even if it's for their personal experience or growth or development of sexuality that they're interested to in an older female, because most part of the time, experiment, they want to explore. Regardless, they have so much more fun in ways, and it's like, for me, it's challenging me more to talk to them, like compared to the 40s. I'm like, oh my gosh, is anything else coming from there? Like, I feel people are heavy. They're heavy. They don't really take this time to clean up their baggage and just like, okay, let's have fun. I'm still alive. I'm still in my 40s, 50s, whatever, but let's enjoy. Let's have fun. And I feel relationships that will last longer is the one that really enjoy each other. That there is this spark. There's this light feeling of, oh, let's do this. Let's do that. A man in their 40s, 50s, whatever, they want to stay home. They want us to go like fishing, hunting. Like, I don't know.
Oh, Beatrice, you're so right. It's the energy. It's the energy.
Yeah.
It's something about a young person, and they've got that oomph about them, that va-va-voom.
The
And
life, the
but
passion for life.
yes, exactly. And the thing is, as well, that I've learned over these last 15 years is that the young man is really hungry for life. He's hungry for sex, and because he's in his sexual peak.
Yeah.
But and yes, as you mentioned just now, they do want to learn about sex. They want to learn everything they possibly can
And they
about
are
the
light.
bedroom.
They don't have as much trauma in relationships, so they don't come with this like insecurities, and they have their own insecurities, but they don't come with this trauma heaviness of relationship that fails, marriage, the
Yeah.
woman that left with the kids and take all the money and they're bitter. There's not such a thing. And that's what I like to interact. Like, I talk to a lot, shame on me. But I do talk to a lot of male online that approach me. I don't say, oh no, you are a young male, don't talk to me, how dare you. No, I talk to
Same,
them.
same. I never ever rejected anybody.
Yeah.
Give them all a chance.
Yeah, I talk to them. Some of them, I have to say, they are so stupid. They don't have a brain because they don't know what a woman really wants in our age to be seduced or to be approached as. Like, some you start to talk, or you feel like, oh, nice, this person has something there, whatever. And as you are almost making up your mind to go meet them in person, they send you videos of themselves masturbating
Oh, don't.
or
Or photograph of their cocks. No, that. didn't give them permission, did you? Nor did I. It's like,
No, I never
why would
asked
you
for. I don't
spoil
want that.
everything?
Like,
Why do you spoil everything and send that? And you know why, Beatrice? Because they they feel they feel aroused when they see a woman naked, and they think we feel aroused by seeing a man's, and it really isn't that. That is not, and men just don't learn today. They spoil it all.
yes. And I said, oh my gosh, everything that I was looking for. Now I'm not interested. I see everything I have to say it, to see it. I don't want to see anymore. Like,
Instant
nothing.
block. It used to be an instant block for me. It's like,
Yeah.
forget it. This is all, and you're right, it does depend on what's going on up here, because some of them, yeah, you can have most of them I found, the ones that I attracted anyway, did have something upstairs and were intelligent. I could have a
Mhm.
conversation. If you can't have a conversation with them, isn't there's just no point.
Yeah.
You're right. Some of them are a bit thick, but
Yeah.
yeah. And the other thing that I really liked about these young men is that they were like, their skin was like pure, there was no damage yet, right? There was no
No,
damage
no
yet. They were like,
balls, no fat bellies.
no,
I'm
that's
sorry.
right.
I'm not discriminating those
No,
fat
no,
bellies.
no,
I'm
nor
not
am I.
discriminating.
It's pure preference, though. Some women are fine with that, but
Yeah.
I really, I caught them before the damage was done. Because look, when they're in their twenties, look, not everyone, obviously. I'm not saying the whole. I'm not stereotyping every young man, but most of them, they don't. They eat what they want. They drink what they want, smoke what they want. Maybe they'll take drugs as well. And they may not even go to the gym for the first, at least till they're 26 years old. And no difference. They'll see no difference in their body. But you see, everything starts changing after about 26. But they don't know that. And they carry on eating, drinking, not going to the gym, whatever. Some of them obviously do go to the gym, and that's great. But they are naturally very muscly when they're young. It's just natural. I remember my
Mhm.
brother, in between 14 and 15 years old, it's almost like he'd been to the gym for 2 weeks and built, grown muscles. He just literally, I remember at the swimming pool, the lifeguard said to him, "My God, Pierre, what have you been doing? Have you been going to the gym?" And he naturally just grew all these arms. So for the young man, he's naturally, I mean, obviously about 80%'s worth of men naturally have it. And so, of course, I'd catch them before it all started going to pot. You know?
I know it's interesting what he's saying because um and that's what I'm like when I'm in the app and I'm trying to see what I'm am I attracted for, and I have no shame to say that because men does that all the time, is the look. First thing you see is a picture. If the guy's hot and sexy, whatever, and is attracted to me, I swipe right, and I don't care if he's 28 or not. Then when you start to talk to this person, and it's go the same for male on their 40s, there's no development of the talking. And I feel like young male, they put a more investment when they're chatting with you. They are curious, they want to get out of the app and take you on a date. And I have been single for a long time. I do not sleep around. I'm still on my sex abstinency, my goal to just like give myself 1 year,
Good for
just
you.
no sex, no, like it. So I decide that if it happens, I'm not against, but if it happens to me that I connect emotionally and mentally with the person, to consider to go to the action of a sexuality. But until then, I still on my path. I want to really be able to meet that goal. And one thing that I was going to say, and I don't want to get sidetracked of that, is that some males as well, like when they're young, and I have a few of them that chatting with me still today, but they don't have as much confidence either to get out and invite you to meet in person. So I have this funny story. I went out, I met this male, and he was like 35, like not a big, huge difference. But when we started to talk, and I told him I had a 20 something years old, I have a 19-year-old, I have like 3 kids, whatever. And I was a single mom, and I was 43 and this and that. He freaks out. Like he got really scared. But in a period of time that I didn't mention none of those, he was okay. So
Wow.
there is a lot of challenges too. It's not like just the fun. There's a lot of challenge. There is sometimes what I feel also is like the life experience that we have, we expect them to know, like, how can you not know those things? And they don't. So it requires a lot of patience, a lot of willing to teach certain things. um I did have a sexual relationship, I would say, because we didn't progress. I was not in a mind or place of my life to have that as a full-time relationship. And sex was great, but the only thing was like, you have to teach them a little bit too. They don't know everything. They don't know words. They don't know positions. They don't know what it means this, or where the clitoris is, or, there's a lot of exploration. If you are willing to do that as a woman, you're going to have fun. You're going to have amazing sex, because they are on there, like, they're never going to say no. And, it's one thing that I feel with the males on my age, they're always tired. They are tired. They're like, I have partners, like boyfriends, that I have a very high sex drive. And when I remember being so upset, because I was like, so baby, woo, 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 this is gonna happen today. And then the person, oh, I'm tired. No, I'm tired. Man, always this tired thing to
Wow.
me.
You know
It,
what's interesting, Beatrice, is that I've actually never, I mean, okay, there's probably only two people I've ever gone out with older than me. And one when I was 21 years old, I met someone on holiday who was 30, and that was like a man to me. But the thing is, you see, is with my limiting beliefs, with my conditioning that I had when I was a child about sex, if I was going to go out with someone older than me, it meant I had to do very adult things, like going down
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And I was absolutely petrified of it, honestly, to the point where I actually went to the doctor a few years later and I said, look, why can't I just I remember hearing a story where my friend's friend had just did it the first time she went out with
Mhm.
him. First time she went out with him, she did it. I'm like, why can't I do that? So I went to the doctor and I said, I can't do it. And he laughed at me, which he shouldn't have done. He laughed at me and he said, look, not everybody likes it. It's all right. It's okay. Not everybody likes it. But years and years later, I realized it's because you've got to like the phallic symbol itself. You have to like it, because once I went out with this, when I say went out, I had a fling with a married man. We say it's not even a fling. I was working with him and he made it very clear that he wanted to have sex with me. He was married with children. I just thought, okay.
Mhm.
But honestly, he looked like Gonzo. Gonzo in the Muppets, the nose,
Mhm.
right? It
Mhm.
looked like that. I knew then there's no way I could do it. And he said to me, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I said, "Oh, I've just got to get used to you. It's just too early," which obviously wasn't true, but I just couldn't do it. So that's what made me understand. You've got to like it, because if you don't like the look of it, if you don't resonate with it, you just can't do anything. So
Yeah.
so after that, I was the same right the way through my 20s. Then I got married, and then it was a bit difficult because I mean he was still 4 or 5 years younger than me. I think 4 years younger. All of them were all younger than me, but he used to he used to force me to do stuff which I didn't want to do. But it was only when I got into my 40s, when I was in my sexual peak, that I literally was, my sex drive was so high, my limiting beliefs and everything that was conditioned me all went out the window, and I just had the most amazing time. I gave myself permission to enjoy it properly. And I honestly didn't want to have a relationship. I was like you. I wanted to find myself, but without a relationship, I was just interested in just. It's almost like I was making up for lost time,
Yeah.
from my 20s, where I
Mhm.
literally, anybody looked at me like a piece of meat, I would just not be interested in them at all. If they after 6 months, I might go down them as a treat, right? And that's like And it's like, and they're blessed, and they never even asked me. If they did ask me, finish straight away. It's like, no, I do it when I want to. Yeah, it's very conflicting, you know. And it's like only as I got much older and I got into my sexual peak that I then completely relaxed and just got on with it, and actually really like, once I let go of this, girls aren't supposed to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
You're a tart if you enjoy it, all that kind of thing. You're not supposed to enjoy it. As soon as I let
Mm-hmm.
go of that, it's like electricity. It's like this explosion behind me. Honestly, it was just like that. I just went, wow, it was incredible. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
after that, it's like, ah, bye bye,
Yeah.
old me, and how hello, new me. And so I actually enjoyed teaching them. I enjoyed, like, you know, giving them a really lovely time they would never have got it from somebody younger. Because that's the thing. I used to ask them, what is it you enjoy about having an older woman? Said, well, she's confident. She's not worried about anything. She's not worried about her body. She accepts herself as she is, and she'll just do everything. Whereas a young girl will be a bit frightened, exactly how I used to be when I was young. I was scared of doing stuff. I didn't know how to do it. And you don't get told this stuff. Not that we should be
Yeah.
told how to do stuff exactly, but in school, we're not really primed. You know, it's a bit of a, excuse the expression, suck it and see type of thing, and see how
Mm-hmm.
you get on. And it's like that for everybody. It's a question of just, you know, finding it out as you go along.
Yeah, I never have a nobody to teach me how to do a blowjob, like seriously, and there is no such a thing.
My
There.
husband taught me. My husband told me exactly how he wanted it, because if I didn't do exactly how he wanted it, he'd walk out. That's how bad it was with him. He was
Wow.
very bad. He would, yeah, anyway, that's
Yeah.
another
Another
podcast, that
episode.
one.
Yeah, you said the looks. I remember to be in a situation where, I really liked the guy. I really like, and he was like older than me. And when I saw his genital, the head looked like has been chewed and threw it out. It looked like, when you chew like
Wow.
gum, chewing gum, and then it was like all the head was
Pitted.
like and it looked like it was all cutted, and I was like,
Wow.
I don't think I should have sex with him. You know what I mean? Because that doesn't look like something normal. So I made an excuse and I postponed this intercourse, and it never happened because I was not comfortable with this looking of his genital. Another thing about age gap that I want to say too. I was talking to this male for like 3 years, and we met. He's in the States, I'm here, and we met in person. He came down, then I went there, and then COVID hit, and then we stopped seeing each other. He's 35, and everything was great. Like, we communicated the way we have fun, we laugh. But one thing that when you go in age gap difference, that you have to be cautious. If you're looking for love like I am, I don't want it to be single for the rest of my life. I want to have somebody to call home, to call my partner, to call my husband. I want that. And is it scary still for me to say that I want that? Because I'm enjoying my single life. I am
I
enjoying
bet you
so
are.
I'm
You want to
enjoying.
milk that and have the best time of your life for as long as you can.
Yes.
Mine lasted 15 years. It was amazing.
Yeah. And I have been like single, just dating 9 years. Like, so I haven't like so much fun, and I won't give up my freedom to settle with somebody that is not compatible me in the bedroom
Could
anymore.
never.
Like, that's like something that I would not negotiate it. I will not negotiate it if there is no somebody that really are mental stable, on emotionally stable, financially stable, because I did have a male that tried to, the story, take advantage, and we already chat about that. Anyways, going back to the situation is that you need to be aware that young males, they don't have a children. So there's two issues there. The first is that would they accept your own kids? The other issue is that do they want their own kids? And the situation with this male is that he wanted to have children. And in my position, could I have a kid still? Yes. Do I want? Hell no. No, thank you.
No.
I I have three beautiful children. I'm blessed, and I cannot hold this person back to have and enjoy this experience of what it feels like to be a parent. So I let him go, and it was sad for me because I know it was somebody that would last a long period of time in my life. But you cannot be selfish when you are dating in general. You needed to make a very cautious mind and be responsible emotionally, mentally, and physically towards somebody. And that was something that you have to be careful. Like I talked to another woman that is in Montreal. She went through the same thing. She held this 8 years relationship with this young male, and she was like, hey, listen, I'm not going to give kids. I cannot have a kids anymore. She could not. And she broke up with him after 8 years together so he can go and have kids. Now
Yeah,
he is with another partner and they still not have a kid. So I
whoa,
said,
whoa,
see.
whoa. You see, you're absolutely making a very, very important point there, because I can't have children, because I've told myself all my life I don't want kids. My body actually reacted to that, and I couldn't have any. And and for me, that's fine. But like you're saying, if it's a younger man and they want kids, then that is a real problem. And I'm so lucky because my husband never can't have children. It just that didn't work for him, and actually doesn't want them either. So I'm actually extremely lucky. But I did actually paint that picture of that man. I mean, in my list of my list of what I wanted in a
Yeah,
man,
you showed
that
me the
was it.
last one there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that is a really, really important point. There was another point I wanted to make, and that is yeah, yeah. So the woman of your age, you see, she's in her sexual peak. And you were saying how the man is too tired, the man of your age is too tired.
Ugh.
And the thing is, you see, the difference is that you are in your sexual peak. You've got an extended, heightened
Yeah.
sex drive at your age, whereas his sexual peak was way back in his 20s. So
Yeah.
you see, what happens is when we're not matched sexually, we're not matched in that way. So that's why, and I know this for a fact because I've observed it, and I know people like this, is that women are very, very in love with their husband still, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
husband is really not in a position to have lots of very, very wild sex, right?
Yeah.
So what these women do is they go out for an evening with their mates to maybe a club where they know they're going to be footballers or something like that, where there are going to be a lot of young men, and they will just go up to a young man and say, "Listen, I just want sex. I've got a room for the evening. Do you want to come along? I'm not going to give you my name or my number. I literally just want sex. I'm married." And they just go. And that's one woman. Then another woman, of course,
That is
that
that's in Europe, right? Because here in Canada, I don't hear those stories.
but I make a point of finding out those stories. And the other women, you see, married the wrong one, because what they did, all us girls make this mistake, is that we get to a certain age, we think, oh my God, we've got to get married now. So you get married with whoever's there because you think, I can't spend too much time looking for someone. Then you've got to get to know someone. Then you've got to either
Mm-hmm.
get married or have the baby, whichever way round you want to do it. Takes time. So I think, okay, I haven't got the time. I'll settle for this one.
Yeah.
Big mistake, ladies. Anybody ever does that.
Exactly.
And the trouble is, it's automatic because they haven't got the life experience that you and I have got where it's not worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So those women, they have their babies. Their purpose then is to look after the child until the child is grown up enough to leave home or whatever. Then they don't have a purpose anymore, as in their child, and
Yeah.
then their husband is there. So it's the two of them. They don't really know each other anymore because they've been focused on everything else
Mm-hmm.
going on but each other. And so, of course, he's not in his sexual peak anymore. And what those women do is they just split up from their husband because their purpose has been done now with the children, and they just go crazy. They just go out with everybody they want, and young men are like, oh my God, these women coming on.
Savage.
I mean, they're having a great time. If I was a man, I'd be going for it too. But I tell you what, a lot of them, about two men in particular lied to me about their age because they so desperately wanted me
It
to.
happens to me. It happens to me. I went out and they lied. They, like, one said that he was 35, and I believed him. Like, he
Well, why
doesn't.
wouldn't you? You tell the truth, right? So do I. So
Yeah,
why wouldn't you believe them? Because you
yeah.
believe they're going to say the same thing, the
And
truth.
then after that, we had a sex, and we got to this point, because for me, I'm very slow to get there. I'm very slow. I go on a few dates, I get to know the person, I need to feel comfortable, whatever. But when we did get there, he's like, so did you enjoy yourself? I say, of course. Why you why, like, this is not like a 35-year-old question. How old are you? Like, what the hell, you know? He's like, I'm 28. I was like, oh shit, why did you lie to me? Because I knew you're not gonna go, because I was saying to him, like, I don't know, I don't want to go under 30s. Like, that's my, like, my mindset. I don't want to go out with a less than 30s up. And he was like, I had to show you that, you know. And it was good, but again, the mindset of having family, babies and stuff, I don't know why it happens to me all
It
the
scares the
time.
life out of them. That's why it's responsibility. They're frightened of it. It's like they don't
Yeah.
know how to behave. It's all new. It's like, oh, a bit uncomfortable. That's what it is. But I tell you what, um, with you, you're saying you didn't want anybody under 30. Well, for me, it was I didn't want anyone over 35. That was my cutoff point. And so this particular one, he told me he was 20, and I thought, yeah, 20's all right. I was like, how old was I? I must have been about, I don't know, 48, something like that. I thought, yeah, 20's all right. Anyway, 2 years went along. I mean, he went back to his
I
own
I
country.
I'm on VU, because I don't have like, I still have this blockage because I'm my daughter.
Yeah,
Like, she's
exactly. A lot. All my
mhm,
friends have that problem. It's like it's too much like your children's age, right? But of
yeah.
course, I don't have children, so I don't care. So it's whatever feels right for me. Anyway, so he went back to his country, and we kept on Skype and stuff like that. And he was doing sexy stuff on Skype as well. And then he goes to me, yeah, yeah, it's my 20th birthday. I said, what? 2 years later, right? It's my 20th birthday. I said, what are you talking about? Hold on, hold on, hold on. You told me you were 22 years ago. What's going on? He said, yeah, yeah. I said, how old were you? He said, I was just 17. I was like, oh my God. See, he
Oh,
was quite mature, you see, because otherwise I would have noticed. But I did know sexually, he was quite immature sexually. Of
yeah,
course, I didn't mind that because I was giving him a nice time, you know. So I was fine with that. I actually like showing them, what woman can do, you know. So
yeah.
anyway, I did think that was like, I said, no one ever done this before. Because no, they haven't like that. And I'm like, okay,
Caroline,
he
we
chose
are
his life.
spoiled those kids.
Well, I tell you what, the trouble is, yeah, because it's
Yeah,
so good, it makes
because you
it
know
difficult.
what?
It made
You
it
give,
difficult to go by people his age, you see, after that.
yes, you are giving him the best time, and then
That's right.
he gotta go like with a 19-year-old or 20-year, and they're gonna be like,
No,
you're
it's
not
not the
doing
same.
like Caroline was doing.
It's his own fault, though. He lied to me. He's like, for 2 years, he lied to me. I was like, oh, I mean, obviously, once he got back to his own country, he never came. Did he come back in? He did come back again, but because it was so difficult for him, he didn't see me again. So it's fine, you know. He got over it eventually, but it was years later. I was like,
Yeah,
wow, are some disadvantages, really. They've got to
yeah,
learn the normal way. Do you know what I mean? So some of them are like over eager, but they're doing themselves no favor by lying, really.
yeah, yeah. Another story that I have too about, like, it's my mother. She met a young male when she was in 24, and the male was, I think, 18,
Mm.
and she had a short period of relationship with him, but because she couldn't have kids anymore, she decided to break up with him and let him go. She regret that deeply, because she's saying he was the love of her life and they
Oh.
were so good together. And a few years later, they met again. And he said to her, like, I still think about you. I still love you. And he's married, and he did have kids. And my mom, the insecurity she had back then, it was that she will become older, ugly, saggy, whatever, than he would. Guess what? He is not looking very well for his age, and she's looking stunning.
Amazing.
So I wanted to say to everybody that's listened to us, is really truly, like you're feeling gut. Like you need to listen to yourself. If you meet somebody, don't judge too much. Well, I put on myself a limit. Like I don't go under 30s, whatever, but I feel like we should not put a limit bar there. If you feel this, there is like a connection, there is a compatibility in everything aspects that you're looking for, you never know. Like you never know. It could be the love of your life, but you say no just because you're insecure about what you're gonna
Well,
look like.
the thing is, it's society that dictates, isn't it? Society says you shouldn't be with, it's all right the other way round, older man with a younger woman.
Or
And to
your
be,
family members, right? Because your family members make you
yeah,
feel ashamed.
yeah, and that's wrong, you see. Listening to other people is wrong because it's what you feel in your heart. If it feels right, just go for it. So when there are people telling me you've got to go for an older man, I tried to listen to them, but it just wasn't right in my heart. And if you put out there that you want a younger person of a certain age, you'll get it. Like I got mine. I mean, people think, all right, he's 44 and I'm 58, and he's going to be 45 in February, and people think he's older than me. I mean, how's that? How's that? People
Yeah.
when he says to them, yeah, she's 14. It's like, what? No, that can't be right. I thought you were older than her. So, and I think, but it's not so much my skin and that. I think it's your spirit. If your
Yeah.
spirit is young, if your energy is young, and you're like,
Not our fault, Caroline.
you know, it's just how it is. So if you are behaving your age, like if I mean, I have to say, none of my friends actually behave their ages. No, nobody, none of my friends actually behave. I mean, what is a 58-year-old? I imagine a 58-year-old is somebody who's got a low energy and that doesn't really want to go out clubbing, doesn't really want to. I mean, some of my friends don't always want to go out clubbing or anything, but they still have a very young kind of persona about them. I
Mhm.
don't know whether it's something to do with our generation in our particular school. I just don't know, but it's very interesting. And I tell you, I don't want to be. It's almost as if I've actually never matured. I think that's why I could never go out with an old man. It's because I was like my dad. It's like to me, I was like a little teen, not a little, but a young teenager. Like, and I've never changed. I've always been this immature. I don't know what you call it.
I
So
don't
go.
I don't think an immature is the right term. I like the orgasmic term. I think we are orgasmic people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're
Uh,
right. Yeah, that's a
uh,
much better way of saying it. And so
what
when they
is an
don't have that
orgasmic
orgasmic,
people again, right? Orgasmic
yeah.
people is they absorb life, they enjoy the sun kiss on your skin, just the
Mm.
shower, the food that you're eating. Like we are passionate about that. And that what it does, it make you still feel young. Like you listen to music and just let your body wave. And like you're dancing with life, you're living the life, you're observing life. In consequence, make us feel different. It kind of is an energy resource, right? Like
It is
it
definitely
boosts you
energy.
inside, and it keeps you young, it keeps your spirit young, it keeps you connect to life and to what is and you want or not, I'm attracted with all things that is energetic, it's young, it's lifeful, it's beautiful, and it can be with just see a sunset, like oh my gosh,
It's
if I see a
appreciating everything
sunset.
you've got in your life, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's being grateful for everything. And when you're grateful for everything, you appreciate everything, don't you? You just think,
Yes,
I thank
exactly.
my lucky stars I'm on this planet and absorbing all the beautiful things this planet has got to offer us.
And I feel like some people, when they go maturing, they like they forget about those things, and it's where their energy goes so
Low.
heavy and dark and not fun, and just like, oh, I'm tired, oh, I have to go to sleep, don't touch me. Like they don't even enjoy sex anymore, which
No.
is amazing,
It
you
is,
know.
especially for a man. There are many, obviously, that have a very high sex drive for the whole of their lives, but many of them, I mean, I know the men of my age that I even went to school. I'm still friends with people that I went to school with. They just don't have that anymore. It's very weird how at our age, I mean, even your
Mhm.
age, my age, how the man is so different. But it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And any any other last things that you'd like to say about sex and age gap before we finish?
I mean, the thing that I wanted to say, and I'm trying to work on this still, is not to put a shameful thing on it. Like you should not put a shame. There's a lot of shame in the world. There's a shame for you to be single. There is a shame for you to be a single mom. There's a shame for you to be a woman with a young male. There's so much shame. And don't care that shame on you, you know. For woman, I'm saying that for woman, don't carry that shame on your shoulder. Just enjoy and make yourself feel fulfilled, whatever that fulfillment can be in this aspect. Now, for the male that is listening that and they're younger, please learn how to seduce a woman that is mature. I would say mature. Okay, I'm not gonna say in certain age gap because I really feel it's maturity. And stop with this, like, we don't want to see your dick. Keep your dick to yourself.
Yes,
A lot of
I
the
agree
time
with that.
it can be a turn off because if you see that and we're like, oh, what an ugly dick, sorry, but it's true. We will be disappointed right away, and you're not going to even pay attention to your personality. And I'm saying this, I'm bold to say this. Not a lot of women's going to tell you that. And it is like the best advice I can give to you is not to send dick pictures. You can ruin an amazing connection there. What else I have to say? Oh, for the females, okay, that's listen to this and our daughters to their mom. Stop shaming your mom. Let her leave. She's not just a
Yes.
mom. She's not just a mom. She gave you the life. She provided to you. She raised you. Now, try to understand what it feels like to be a single mom for her and let her just to have fun. Like don't shame her for that, you know?
Very, very good advice. And one last question I'd like to ask you is if you were your 18-year-old self again, what would you advise yourself?
I would say to myself, stay away from men. Stay away from men until you are mature enough to learn the self-love. Because
Absolutely right.
yeah, because I feel like a lot of young male, me and my 18-year-old, when I look at myself, I did not have this self-love for me. I was not my big fan. I was not in connection with myself. As much as we think we are not. We are not there. So stay away from man. Don't put a man as a priority. Don't put like a babies. Don't put like a marriage. Like you don't know shit. Like I would tell that to myself. You don't know shit. Just focus on self-development, self-growth. If you come from a broke family, heal your traumas first. Expand your friendships, invest on your friends. And that's what I was going to say for my young self, 18 years.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. Now, what I'd like is for all of our guests, all our audience to be able to connect with you. So if you could say Sex in the Toronto City podcast, but if you'd like to say it so they can write it down while they're listening.
Yeah, sure, sure. So if you guys want to find me, the where the social media that I'm more active is at pod sex in Toronto City. That's in Instagram. And I am also on Spotify as Sex in Toronto City, TikTok, Facebook, but I'm more active on Instagram
Okay,
at
you're
pod
also
sex
on
in Toronto
you're on
City.
YouTube as well, aren't you?
Yes, and then there's amazing interview, guys. Seriously, like it's mind blowing. And just to keep in mind, my podcast is in two languages, so you see Portuguese and you see English interviews there.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. Okay, I hope you guys will all go and watch her YouTube and go onto Instagram and see her there because she's amazing. Listen, Beatrice, I am so so grateful you got up at 4:30 in the morning to be with us and share your fabulous wisdom. So I want to thank you very very much indeed for coming on.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. You guys need to go see and listen to the episode that I did on my podcast with Caroline as well.
Yeah, definitely. That was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, listen, thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Really, thank you all so much for taking the time to tune in and listen to us. So, to
Thank
your
you.
sexual victory, everybody, I'm out.
I'm out.